big time into self-care and prioritize 5 different areas of self-care. There's probably more than that, but 5 different areas. So one of them is spiritual self-care. Another is emotional self-care, physical self-care, and mental self-care, and social self-care. I think I just hit on the 5 if I did it right. Those are the 5 that I chose to zoom in on. So if you would want to watch further and think more further about each one of these, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is my name, Julie Kay, like Julie Kay, helping you find your way. That is my middle name. It's my mom's name that she gave me. And so my mom passed away a year before Heidi did. So I honor her with my full middle name now. It is part of the way I brand myself. And Kettles, as in a teapot, or Kettles chips, which is an easy way to remember my last name. Even if you put in Julie Kettles without the K in the middle, K-A-Y, you'll get most of my videos. And so if you put in mental self-care, Julie Kettles, you'll find the video. I just verified it. I just went to all 5 of mine and they pulled right up. So if you want to, if you just put self-care, you should hopefully see all of them. If you scroll down, you should see all of them. So you can see more about that on my YouTube channel. But anyway, self-care. So we can talk a lot about this, and it's not about being selfish. I'm a believer and follower of Jesus Christ. So I hope less and less as I mature and grow in the Lord, I'm being less selfish, although we all have an element of that. So, but it's taking care of ourselves. So many of us give out through work, through family, through our ministries, through volunteering, whatever we do, we give out a lot. And if we're not giving back to ourselves or prioritizing time on ourselves, we're probably hurting ourselves in some way, shape, or form. And body, soul, and spirit is the way God made us. So we can be thinking we have just a physical problem and it's a soul problem. And we can think we just have a mental problem and it's physical too. And it's, emotional or whatever it is. So we don't always know where it starts, right? But we're spirit, soul, and body, and every part of that's connected. So every part matters and every part affects each other is one thing I talk about in this series. So I wanted to touch on that tonight because it's one of my 10 tips again, that I'm going to go over in my grief workshop, which is very practical and very interactive. We had a wonderful group of people come on the first one on March 8th. And if any of you get on this live and want to comment about that workshop, I'd love to hear from you on the comments. But it was very interactive and very, I think, helpful to each one. And everybody came with different levels of knowledge. One of the ladies that has been attending our support group for definitely a year, more than a year now, off and on, she came, and I hope that she still got something out of it, right? And something that helped her. So, but others came that had just everybody different, everybody's unique, right? So, but I think that most of them all said, thank you very much. And I really appreciated it. It was good for me. And so I look forward to the 29th, to some of y'all coming out and joining me for this workshop. I do plan to do more throughout the year. In May, I'll be teaching a class through the Life Center at Calvary Chapel Worship Center. So I'll be talking more about that as we get closer. And April is, of course, Easter. So I probably will not be doing a workshop in April, probably not until the summer at some point, or maybe not until August, but do plan to do more this year. So if you know anyone who would like to have a workshop because they really want to help their people, their congregation, their organization, I'm telling you, so many people don't talk about their loss or even realize the losses that are affecting them and how much they have affected them or how much they still need to work through those losses and get help and get support. So you would be doing your church, your organization, a wonderful, wonderful blessing, I think, by having this workshop. I'm not the only one doing it. Talking about grief, but I don't think there's too many workshops out there that are 2 hours. They're interactive, practical, informative, but you still get to share and open up some in. So again, hope you join me if you have any questions about and self-care. Let me mention, I'm going to try to mention one in each area of my life that I do. I have multiple ones in each area. And again, if you go to my videos, you'll hear me share different ones. Some of these, some self-care things, I'm sure you could put under different categories. So it's not for you to say, well, this has to be this. If I need mental help, I must do only mental self-care. That's not what we're trying to do here. It's just kind of to get us thinking and realizing it's different things one thing could more help our mind. One thing more could help our spirit and, our emotions, our heart, our soul, and then social self-care. So anyway, I'll start with social self-care. One thing that I've been doing, that I don't think I have on that video, that I would say is social self-care is being back on the ministry team at my church. I love dancing. If y'all know me, anything about me, I love to sign to music and I love to dance. I love to line dance. But being back on the dance team, I feel very much a part of the family. I feel very valued in that ministry, and I feel I have people that I've known from the past. It's like being able to reinitiate the friendships and the relationships of people I've known in the past, and it's social self-care. I mean, it's for the Lord. I do it. He moved me to get back on the ministry team, so I obeyed him. I know it's part of my calling. So I hope I'm a blessing to the people who see me, and most of all, the blessing to the Lord himself as I dance. But it's good for me, and it's social. I would say it's part of my social self-care. And so that would be my social, spiritual self-care. Again, could be multiple things, but I'm just going to pick worship music itself right now, which I tend to move to because I love to move to it. But worshiping alone at home, putting on soft instrumental music at times, other times, something more loud. But that is part of my spiritual self-care. Mental self-care. Y'all can mention, Michelle, if you're thinking of anything, please put a comment on here or something of any type of self-care. My mental self-care. I've said multiple things for that in the past, but again, this between mental and spiritual, both of these this one could cross it. But my declarations, let me show you guys. I've got them in the drawer over here. I've got bags and bags. Here's some bigger cards of various. Here's some from Michelle Talone that she gave out at our women's conference. Beautiful colored ones. Bags and bags of declarations that I say over myself. And I want to say every day, but there's days I do miss it. But pretty much when I miss it for a very long, I can feel it. So that I would say definitely probably comes under mental and spiritual, because it's blessing my mind, which I want to renew my mind. The Bible says to be not conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Romans chapter 12:1. So I consider that part of my renewing my mind. Absolutely. It has absolutely helped me to renew my mind. It's one of my key things that I share in my coaching, which I do one-on-one coaching, if y'all don't know that. So, but I love that. And I have, most of them are scriptural. Some are just things that I realized I learned I need to speak over myself to align myself with the truth and what God says, and to move myself forward in hope and strengthen myself to do the things he's called me to do. So some of them are not right on scriptural, but most of them all are. None of them are anti-scriptural. So they're wonderful. So that's part of my mental health. And let's see. So mental, spiritual, social, and then emotional. Some of my emotional self-care. Again, I think there's multiple things that could come into play here. One of them, well, I was going to say for physical, I take walks in nature, but my walks in nature are also emotional self-care, because I find nature very supportive and very safe and stabilized. It helps to stabilize my emotions when I'm in nature. So I'm going to say that, walking, in the middle of the summer, I don't go out as much in nature. If I do, it's usually family and water oriented, keep cool. because I don't deal with the heat too well. So that is physical self-care as well as my dancing. But when I do it in nature, it's also emotional self-care. So those are a few of mine. What are yours? Love to hear your input, and tell me what you think self-care is, or what's the purpose of self-care. When you're grieving, I believe it's even more important, especially those who are overwhelmed, depressed, just throwing out some ones that come to my mind, anxious, fearful, isolating too much, lonely, hopeless, and if you have any degree of any of these, other ones that we can think of too, right? Just very down on yourself, feel kind of stuck in self-pity or stuck in anything, right? Stuck in a pit, just stuck in your grief, and you or realize that you have never mourned the loss of a loved one from many years ago, and you're struggling on how to do that. So especially if you're dealing with life-changing loss, it's important to have self-care. If you come to me, we'll explore that. We'll help you find those things that you need to do. I'll be a source of support and accountability for that. Encourage you. I never beat anybody up. Encourage you to do that and find it and find your own path towards healing and hope again, and finding just to be able to live again and not be in all those negative things that God doesn't want us in long term. Yes, it's part of our lives, and he expects that we're going to go through them. Look at King David. He went through all kinds of stuff if you read the Psalms and you read them carefully. But he always pointed back to the Lord, right? At the end or somewhere, and talked about God. But he was very real about what his struggles were. He felt grief. He felt sick. He felt condemned. He was scared. He was being hunted. He was rejected. He went through all kinds of things. Abused, I would say too. But just all kinds of things. So we need to be real about those things. But there is hope, and there is help, and there is support. So I just really wanted to touch on self-care tonight and prioritizing that in your life, making new habits with the ones that work for you so that they become part of your life. And it doesn't mean you're always going to do them every day. Like I was always doing my declarations every day, and I still need to. But there's days I don't, and I don't feel it as much as I used to if I don't. But I know I need it, and I am much stronger and more ready to help others and to do my job. And when I do them, by all means. So, it's still like when you do them long enough, like any habit, you'll realize when you don't do it, what you're missing, or what negative effects there are, or how much you need it, or how much it helps you do better in life and have more joy and more peace and more confidence, etc. So that's what I've noticed about the ones that I've made a habit, my journaling ones, my I call it soaking to music. I don't do it every day, but I did it just before this. It was wonderful. Just kind of go to a happy place and put on very calming music and let that be a time with you, with God, but in a very happy place. Not thinking about any other work or anything else, or stressing about anything, or your to-do list or anything like that. You just be with him. And I do it for like 16 minutes. And it's wonderful. So there's a lot of things I can share. And I do share them on my YouTube channel, again, at Julie, Kay Kettles. Hope you go and subscribe and watch some of the videos, see if you like them, and share them out.